30 years have passed since someone shot and killed Guadalupe Ocana Saldana. The single mother of three was in her Plainview home when those deadly shots were fired.
Decades later, her children continue to search for their mother's killer. Investigative reporter Shaley has the story.
Friday, July 31st, 1987.
The day started off to be any regular day, like any other day.
Claudia Martinez was just 7 years old and says her mother had to work late.
I remember her leaving money because we had our best friends over that day. Started watching movies that night. Nothing abnormal.
Claudia says her mother came home in the early hours of Saturday morning after working a late shift.
1, 2 o'clock in the morning is when this nightmare all took place.
A nightmare Claudia has relived over and over again for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Claudia says she and her friends were asleep in the living room when she heard her mother's boyfriend at the door.
My mom was trying to avoid him coming in. She did this at the door, and he pushed her into the kitchen, cursing at her, grabbed her by her shirt, and deliberately pushed her next to me, and he pulled out the gun and started shooting her.
A memory that is just as vivid today as it was 30 years ago.
These gunshots are going in her, and she's shaking after every one of them. And she was looking at him like, please stop, and he wouldn't stop. He just continued.
Claudia's sister, 15-year-old Juanita Adame, says she and a friend had fallen asleep in a tent in the backyard and awoke to what they thought were fireworks until they heard the screams.
When I opened the front door, I seen my mother laying in a pool of blood. And I started screaming and crying, and I couldn't keep myself together there for a little bit, and then I composed myself. I called the police.
The KCBD Investigates team has obtained this Plainview Fire Department incident report, which states the dispatcher received the call at 4:10 on Saturday, August 1st. When EMS arrived, the paramedics reported finding 37-year-old Guadalupe Ocanas with multiple gunshot wounds, but still breathing. Paramedics rushed Guadalupe to the hospital, where Juanita had a chance to see her mother one last time.
She really couldn't talk. But I told her I loved her. I told her to wake up.
30 years later, these sisters, now with children of their own, say they will not give up until they find their mother's killer.
We just want justice for our Lupita. That's what we want.
So if Claudia Martinez identified the shooter, then why wasn't the man arrested? The KCBD Investigates team went digging for answers. We will tell you what we found tonight on KCBD News Channel 11 at 10. Christine Abner.